reveal the truth.
Oh, yeah, that's me. Hi, everybody. I'm Jim Price, the Jim Price Show Daily Update. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Oh, I get to make up the date. No, the government's going to tell me. Never mind. It's a March 5th. It's a Thursday. Trash day here at the Price House, 2026. Well, guys, thank you for being a part of the show. Kristi Noem is out as the DHS secretary and will be taking over the Southern District of Florida and the Caribbean District. She's not actually leaving. She's stepping down or stepping to the side, however you want to look at it. But there will still be a continuity of leadership where we will get the new guy in, which is from Oklahoma. I actually follow quite a few of his. He has a pretty good little he does little tours of the Capitol and is very personable about his social media. And so that's that's kind of where everything's going to go on that whole thing. Everybody's like, oh, yeah, she's out, man. Woo! Blah, blah, blah. And, I mean, we all got to be careful about what we say and how fast we overreact or act about some things. So they're also talking about the fact that she approved a multi-million-dollar ad campaign. And again, I don't know what that means. There are certain things in that whole realm I don't quite understand or don't get, so I can't really speak about it. But she did approve some immigration ad campaign that either Trump didn't like or Trump didn't approve or something, and he's very touchy about media. So anyway, it is what it is. I'm not real worried about all that. So Ken Paxton reveals the one thing that would cause him to consider dropping out of the Texas Senate race against John Cornyn. During an interview with journalist John Solomon, Paxton made it clear he is staying in the Texas Senate race until the very end, regardless of the well-established managers to coax an endorsement for Corcoran. Okay, so whether the establishment manages to coax an endorsement for Cornyn out of the White House. I'm staying in the race I owe to the people of Texas, says Paxton. I spent a year of my life campaigning against John Cornyn because John was not representing the people of Texas well. He sided with Joe Biden on Second Amendment restrictions, sided with Joe Biden on bringing Afghan refugee settlements here without vetting them. This angered Trump, who said in an interview that, with Politico that Paxton made a bad move. So again, there's a lot of this stuff where I don't always understand. Let me make a couple quick comments here. It's good to see everybody. Thank you for checking in. Good to see you, Edward. Thank you so much for being a part of everything. Thank you for monitoring. As we go into this whole thing, there's some people and some things that I want to say this, and I don't want to give Trump more credit than he deserves. Not trying to kiss in the ass. But I do believe in a lot of ways that the people that he has brought to the limelight that seem like quote-unquote failures, there was a very specific reason why that person was brought into the limelight, put out there to fail, but it ended up being this entire investigation into this whole big thing, right? Now, the Kristi Noem thing, I'm not one way or the other, on that. I don't care. But here's one thing that I kind of come to a conclusion on, and this is a Jim Priceism. This is not about anybody else. Hey, Mindy East, good to see you. Now, this is not me. This is just my opinion, my opine. I don't have anything really. But there's a lot of things about what Trump does and has certain people around, like when Michael Jackson was talking about saving the kids, and then they wrote articles about him being a child molester, where they use that ability to degrade somebody, but then he's like, dude, check me out. I'm out. I'm done. But then we have videos of him, getting up and walking out of the van and walking into the hospital. We have these different things with Prince and Elvis and all these other things where you're seeing all this stuff going on, right? I do believe Charlie Kirk asked for the same treatment. I think he asked to be moved along. That it make it look like whatever. And my point of that is that if you look at the wake of things that are being left behind after Charlie Kirk's incident, it is breathtaking to see how much of that organization was literally doing the worst of things. Gambling debts, transfer of ownerships, corporations, money transfers, death benefits, lots and lots. Hey, Philip, good to see you, man. Thank you so much for being here. So, my point is that it seems like when Trump will bring someone in, it either they're going to make it or whatever they had going on is going to get exposed. It's coming out. And I don't know if you want to call that a white hat operation. I don't care you want to call that Q or whatever you don't or do want to call it. But there's a lot of things about Erica now and some of the others around her and her mother's contracts with the federal government and her father's contracts. Again, we're not our parents. I get that. But there seems to be some very direct causation correlation things going on here. And I don't know what's going on. I don't have all the answers. I don't know, I can't speak specifically to really one thing or the other, but I will tell you it's getting a little bit out there, guys, that a lot of the stuff that I was really kind of like, hey, and I believed in what Charlie was doing, but I think that there may have been some bad actors behind him. And people that were influential around him, well, maybe they were the wrong people. And that happens. But I do wonder if a lot of this is not part of that disclosure of things where people are actually going to be exposed for who they are. Now, remember, there was a lot of people initially like, well, what about that Romanian adoption agency that she was a part of? And what about all that? Hey, ha. And so people are, I'm like, I went and looked into it. I couldn't find anything. I was like, well, it doesn't look like there's anything. Well, that's also good PR companies, right? A good PR company will make sure and cover that up for you. Hey, Karen, good to see you. So my concern is that we all wanted everything to be better than it was, and it's not. We wanted our government to be better. We wanted, thought Doge was going to do better. We want all these things to do better. I do think a lot of things are happening now, guys. I really do. I'm not worried about so much as I used to be. But let's look at the bigger picture of things sometimes with this whole thing with Kristi Noem and other things. But there's going to be more disclosure, more things coming out. But if you remember that the guy that they're putting in place as a new DHS secretary, he's also been on the super secret blah, 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 blah House committee member. He's been on all the ones that tell him all the bad things and all the good things, all the secret things of our country. Now, like I've said, though, that, Kristi Noem, she's not moving out of DHS. She's just going to she's not running it. She's going to go run a district. I do see that there's a lot of things that are happening that I don't approve of. I don't like the word regime change. I know I don't like the words that, of toppling governments and this and that, or executing leaders, because if we can somehow justify executing leaders, then why are you mad that they want to execute us? See, the problem with it is that if I limit you and say you can't do it, well, I limit myself as well, correct? Don't kill other leaders, but I'm going to kill leaders. No. When I tell other people you can't kill leaders, that means I can't kill leaders either. So anyway. A lot of things are going to be happening, but one of the reasons I named today's episode JEFFEEE, or More JEFFEEE, is because there's going to be another layer of documents coming out about JEFFEEE. And they're saying it's going to be another 47,000 files, which means there's going to be even more documents in behind each file. So one file could have 1,000 documents behind it. The millions of documents released so far by the United States Department of Justice have caused an earthquake around the world. Politicians, royalty, entertainers, financiers, scientists, powerful players of all stripes are getting in trouble. From reputational damage, losses of contracts and jobs, investigations, arrests, even a suspected suicide. The Justice Department has said it will release nearly 50,000 documents related to the case of the late sex offender by the end of Friday. A department spokesman told Wall Street Journal Tuesday evening that 47,635 files were offline for further review and would be ready for reproduction by the end of the week. So there we go. It's been reported the documents would include unverified allegations against Epstein and President Trump. The unsubstantiated allegations against Trump, the DOJ has noted, were made in the run-up to the rigged 2020 election and must be understood in its context. Trump has insisted that the release of the files will exonerate him of any legal, moral, or ethical wrongdoing. According to the Journal, the file to be made public includes summaries of 3 interviews a woman gave FBI agents following JEFFEE's arrest. So it looks like we're going to have more of that coming out. Looks like there'll be things that, everybody will get to drill down and have to deal with over the weekend. Now, a couple things here, too, and that's a whole other thing. That JEFFEEE file, if you guys thought that Hillary Clinton were going to get up there and Bill Clinton were going to get up there and say, I did it, I was the third gunman on the Nebraska knoll, I was in the sewer, the manhole, I was in the gutter. That's not going to happen, and that's not how it works. Sad part of it is the people don't own up to things because then they would feel like they have to be held accountable. But you know what is actually crazy? Do you know what actually is crazy is that people naturally, listen to me for a second, this is actually very true. People naturally want to give you a break if you tell them the truth about your wrongdoings, whether it was malicious, an accident, or not. People want to give you the benefit of the doubt. They want to give you grace. They want to forgive you. And if Hillary Clinton, got in there and go, hey, I was on some drugs, I was doing some crazy, but I disqualify myself for politics. See, the thing is, though, is that because you just keep lying and compounding, we don't really care about you anymore. You've given away our empathy. People want to do that for people. People want to, but you got people that deny all the way down to the very end. They, never did to the death's door. They never can, they never come clean with it, right? So, I don't know. There's a lot about this whole situation, how it's all coming apart. You want to ask yourself, are we really, what are we learning about ourselves as we see these others make fools of themselves? Are we gaining knowledge? Are we getting better for this? Are we doing the work, so to speak? Terrence William, good to see you, man. Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate you. Susan Bly down in Oklahoma. So, article came out. Let's do a little bit of, let's see where this goes for us. Troubled singer Britney Spears was arrested for DUI in southern Florida and booked in Ventura County Jail on Wednesday evening. That would have been last night. Per TMZ, the 44-year-old was taken to the hospital earlier Thursday morning to have her blood drawn. Britney's manager, Cade Hudson, told TMZ that Spears is going to take steps to comply with the law. This was an unfortunate incident and is completely inexcusable. Brittany is going to have to take the right steps and comply with the law. And hopefully this can be the first step in a long overdue change that needs to occur in Brittany's life. Hopefully she can get the help and support she needs during the difficult times, Hudson said. Now, let me ask you something here, guys. Supposedly this chick has staff. She has zeros in the bank account, whether I don't know if it's all of the ones she used to have or half of them or some of them. She shakes her ass and all of her goods on Instagram all the time to the point where it's like a white trash, I don't know, OnlyFans or something. It gets really bad, and it's really disturbing after a while. And I get little clips of it, and a little bit of clips, I'm like 30 seconds in, I'm like moving on. I can't watch it. But for someone like that to give this politically correct statement of, this is an unfortunate incident that is completely unexcusable. Brittany is going to take the right steps to comply with the law, and hopefully this can be the first step in a long overdue change that needs to occur in Brittany's life. Hopefully she can get the help and support she needs during this difficult time. Guys, I don't know what it looks like to you, but from my perspective over here in Kansas and looking over to the west and looking at Hollywood over there, and I look at this young lady, and I just see someone who they broke. They just didn't know when to stop breaking her, when to stop messing with her. And yes, nobody's there trying to put her back together. And if she's plying herself with alcohol or whatever else she's on, it's never going to heal her. And none of this treatment that they're going to feign is what's going to heal her and all this other. It's not going to happen. It won't happen. It's not. Treatment doesn't fix people, guys. I'm sorry. You can tell me whatever you want, but it just doesn't happen. People fix people. The person fixes themselves. That's how it works. They get around to it themselves. So, but anyway, page six obtained dispatch audio that revealed Britney Spears was swerving in and out of lanes before she was pulled over. Black BMW sedan in and out of lanes, speeding. Dispatch audio revealed. Cops told Britney Spears Cops took Britney Spears to a hospital immediately after pulling her over for an alleged DUI, as TMZ has learned. In recent years, Britney Spears has worried fans by posting troubling videos to her social media. Well, that's what I've just said, too. Britney Spears deactivated her account on Wednesday after she was arrested, developing. So, guys, there's a lot of that stuff where we see these people. A lot of us want to go out there and jump the bandwagon and this and that. But when I'm using this as Jim Priceism. I'm not a doctor. I'm not an expert in this. But the best way I can describe what PTSD brains are. When I say brains, that means that people go into their own brain and they create these small segmented brains that hold on to trauma and deal with certain traumas or situations or stress or pleasure, whatever it is. They go into these different brains and they use those parts of the brain to deal with that moment. Now, the problem is those usually happen after a big traumatic break. Something has to be big. It has to be a big moment. And when the brain feels like it has to protect the rest of the brain, so it puts this stuff into a little capsule and holds it there. The problem is if someone's doesn't go back to that part of the brain and reuse that, they keep creating that same capsule, that same part of the brain over and 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 over again, until the system is overloaded with those little brains, that little moment brain and somehow, unless you work with some specialists that will help with some herbal medicine and some other things, you're never going to collapse those PTS brains back into one again. And that's kind of my best analogy for it. And a lot of people will live with PTSD, that part that sits in the back of their brain. They never really access it until some traumatic moment lines up. The dog gets ran over. A kid was in a fight. Your wife gets bumped into by somebody. It's just a little click thing. You don't know. Even in women, women will have them, and they don't realize it. And they think that they're completely fine, but they slip into this other thing. And then they jump back out of it, and they're like, what? I wasn't me. It's like, yeah, that was all you. But a lot of what we do when we're putting these segments together, we're just trying to survive. to survive through those moments and get to the other side. That's really what those are for. The brain just does it automatically. It's not a decision made like, hey, would you like to segment your brain into a smaller piece so that you can handle this stress moment but not affect or damage the rest of the brain? It's not, nobody goes and asks you that. You don't have to sign in and do your password and do a triple verification and an access code. Your mind just does it. And if your mind doesn't know how to do it efficiently, doesn't put those things into separate things, or doesn't put them in these same types into the same bucket over here, well, it creates all a bunch of little buckets every time it happens, and then you get overloaded, and the mind will shut down on you. So there are ways to do that, but it is difficult, and people have to want to do the work. But again, a lot of people don't want to go in that. Go into that work. They don't want to do that. They just don't want to be a part of it. It's just like, well, yeah, I'm kind of cool with it, but yeah, well, I was going to when I get back from vacation. Maybe I'll do it next week. I don't know. We'll see. And that's what happens there, is that people, they just never get the work done. And I get it. Having had to go through it myself, it was a lot. So. So when I see things like with Brittany and I see things like with other people, and then we all want to be able to go out there and we want to say, well, see, I told you they were crazy. See, I told you they were the problem. There are times that people do have breaks, and there are people that this and that, but there are times that those people were put in breaks not because of their own personal decision, but because of what other people did around them. Do you follow what I'm saying? That there are things in our bodies and our minds and our patterns and our behaviors are there because of things that other people dumped on us. Other people didn't handle their own responsibilities. People weren't this or that. And then either they dumped it on us and we chose to take it on, or we just chose to take it on without them dumping it on us. And these are failures on both parts, our parents and adults around us, but also ourselves. And the one thing that I got a class I teach every other week, and got a group of people together. And I'm going to lose what I was just going to tell you. All we need is a fire and a friend. And if anything that you can see in the moment with Brittany is that if she really had true friends and she had a fire, whether that was an oil lamp or a candle. See, guys, you can actually get the same type of energy exchange and the same kind of mind reset with a flame from a candle, and not one of those air wick candles, not one of those, whatever the balsamic hut or whatever that used to be the candle hut or all that other stuff with all the horrible scents in it. Go back to a true candle that doesn't have all these other chemicals that cause it to smell good. You just want something that's a flame, and your eyes will reset just staring at a natural flame. But anyway, going back to Brittany and what I was teaching the class last night, is that so many times we can fix a lot of our trauma. Trauma is just in contact. It's impact, right? It could be laughter, it could be pain, it could be pleasure, whatever. Well, however you want to take it, and it imprints on the body. But if Brittany would have had somebody who was genuinely there at a fire, at a flame, and having her had that conversation, she could have therapied herself through a lot of things. And a lot of times that like she could have been sitting there and saying, hey, when this is happening, I'm this, and this, and this. And then they're like, oh, don't do that. No, it was never meant to say that. But we don't communicate enough in a genuine way, in an honest way, and really open ourselves to each other that allows us to be able to heal each other through conversation. The greatest thing we've ever done is we move each other out of our houses. We don't have multiples of generations. We don't have multiples of people in the same home. See, we've segmented everybody into these little studio apartments, these one-bedroom apartments, these two-bedroom apartments, these one-bedroom houses, two-bedroom houses. And yes, there's a lot more of those out there than you realize. And then we told everybody during the shutdowns to stay home. All this big fictitious fart in the wind that was going to kill you. Stay home, stay home. It's the only thing that's going to save you. And so people imprinted in their lives that maybe getting around people is going to kill me, it may be harmful. But what if the idea really is, guys, that they keep showing us over and over again exactly what keeps us sane and what makes us better is that we have more people around us. And that we do engage and that we're not afraid of the crowds. We're not afraid of the interaction. We're not afraid of the correction. We're not afraid to be around our fellow man. It's not afraid to be human. And see, that's the part where I think we all forget. Vince Braun, this is actually a thing right here. He says, I still smell burning flesh when I relive some of the war. It's so strange what the mind can do. Well, absolutely, Vince. That's thank you for telling us that, dude. That was cool. But it's very real in what our brains can do. But if we don't really talk about it, we don't associate it, we don't listen, we don't let that get out, well, then it's stored inside, and that's what kills us. Is when you have trauma, when you have laughter, when you have pain, when you have hurt, when you have joy and agony and all these things, these stored energies that you don't express, that you don't get out, that you don't cry, you don't scream, you don't laugh, you don't fart, you don't whatever, that holding that inside is what kills you. It's what holds you back from expressing yourself about anything in the future. And the older you get, the less you do, right? As a child, I watched my grandchildren get so damn excited that they tremble with joy. They just like, you can just see how much joy is in their body. Like their body's just like, oh, God, yeah. And I'm like, yeah, man, feel that. That is being alive. I want to feel like my 2- and 3-year-old grandsons when they come over and they're just like, just like it's like they're being electrocuted with joy. And it's so beautiful to see, but we forgot how to feel that way because we were told not to express ourselves. We're not to laugh out loud, to hold that in, to not cry, to not show the pain. Don't cry. Don't yell. Don't tell anybody it hurts. And so we find ourselves here. Amanda is very, very wise in this comment. Very good. It says, we forgot to be authentically human with each other. Yeah. Just being people being people, not being all judgy and stuff. You know, we when we start talking about, we kind of put ourselves out there, we kind of forget about everybody else's stuff. We forgive them and we don't care. But you got to be real about that on the inside, and so that's where we all got to work on that. But, man, it's amazing to see ourselves in different ways, right? But if we were to actually be that, right? Ed, you want to come out and hang out and go out to the campfire out here in the backyard. I got a little burn pit out here. Not burn pit, but it's where I burn the extra wood and boxes and all this stuff. Like I tell you guys to burn all your boxes and stuff, that's what I do too. I burn it all the time. But if you want to come and hang out and burn that every night and whatever, then that's what we do. But guys, don't sit there and say, well, I wish I could have, wish I would have, because there's too many people out there looking for somebody to hang out with them at night and watch the fire burn and tell stories and just kind of process things. And to be what they call intimate, meaning that you share things that you're not sharing with anybody else because there's nobody else around. And we got to do better for each other. We got to do that, right? So yeah, authenticity. Well, that's where that all is created. We talk about this stuff quite often, and how authenticity really is where we all want to be with where we find our creator. And then we don't want to have that conversation because, well, if we're going to talk about that, blah, 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 right? Oh, well, anyway. Guys, remember when I told you that there was going to be the JEFFEEE files that we're going to be continuing, that's going to keep coming out? And that there were going to be more of this stuff, and it was just going to be kind of the tip of iceberg, and we keep finding out more, and keep finding out more, and we keep finding out more. Well, they told us on the last bit of information that that was all we were going to get, and then this is now another bunch of information. So, that's where we're at. I think it's going to get bigger. And I do see a lot of jockeying. I will give you this. Listen, I think of myself as someone who's fairly intelligent, knows a couple things. But to be able to orchestrate something at this level and this sophistication, please understand that if you don't have a couple thousand people that you can trust on like a group text, you know what I mean? I don't know if we can all judge anything that's going on in DC. And the things that are turning around and things that are moving in a positive way, I see things happening, and I do. But again, remember this: you got to have so many people on the inside of things, and then you got to have people that are willing to be on the outside but still work with you on the inside. Think about that. I thought I had thousands of friends. I thought I had thousands of people I could count on. I had business associates, investments. I had all these different things, these social groups, blah, 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 blah. And as soon as there was an article about me, I couldn't find one of them. My phone went from buzzing. I mean, I used to go through my phones would burn out. Like, they would literally just stop working, and within a year. Because I was just using them. I mean, they were just getting hit that hard. Constant contacts, phone calls, emails, text messages, just go, 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 go. If I wasn't getting, probably, I don't know, I would almost say I was getting probably 1,000 text messages a day. Maybe not that many. But I used to get a lot. And as soon as somebody thought that there was a, oh shit moment with Jim, man, I thought I had friends, and I didn't. So, what my point is that when we're looking around at all these things, and we see what is going on, I really wonder sometimes if we're not just a little arrogant and forgetting how much is really happening and how hard it is to work against a machine that just literally is just grinding the other direction away from you. And there's millions of federal, state, and city and county employees that are working against the Trump organization. Period, guys. Period. End of story. They don't hide their vitriol. They don't hide what they're doing. They don't hide their opinion or their ethnicity or their love for Iran or Venezuela or whatever. And they still work for us. So my problem is, guys, is we have to be thankful that we have what we have. Now, do I trust Trump? Emphatically, that would be stupid on my part. There's a lot of things about Trump that I really do like, but then there are things I think he does make mistakes. I think the idea of what he's done I think the Venezuela thing where he took the guy out so that they could get back to regular elections and let the vice president move up and all that, and then got us a better source of oil so we don't have to go to Russia for our asphalt and our crappy crude we buy. But this idea of what we're doing in Iran, again, part of it is I see some of it as necessary. But I also look around and go, geez, man, isn't this exactly what you said you weren't going to do as regime change, and you've done it twice in the last 2 months? So we got to correct that language. We got to get that right. And I know that sometimes parsing words is not really what that's not the battle. But just correct yourself. Be that real person. So let's think what we got. Let's keep our shoulder to the wheel. We'll keep pushing forward, and just remember that a lot of these people out there that are doing things, there's a lot of people that have been pushed to the edge on a lot of this stuff. Am I out of focus for some reason? No, I'm good. Why is that out of focus on? Why is that? What's that? Why does that look weird on? Am I grainy to you guys at all in your videos? Hey, Dave Glovin, good to see you. Ken, good to see you as well. Hey, guys, remember to use your promo code PRICE on my pillow. It saves you 66%. What? Hey, Ken, good. Thank you for that. Appreciate that, buddy. Thank you. Anyway, for some reason, I'm getting really bad resolution on my stuff. Thank you, guys. Appreciate that. All right, let's get back to the news of things. By the way, this is what sucks, okay? When there's somebody on the administration that gets fired or let go or leaves or whatever, there's that immediate dogpiling from the other side of whoever got fired. So the Democrats are like, yeah, finally Kristi Noem's gone. Well, our justice and the DHS will be reeled in and their authorities will be under control now. And thank God she's gone. And it's just, I don't know why that just bothers me. It just does. And I don't know if that's just me and who I am, but a couple quick things. Let me do some things for you on where I am. Again, I talked about Turning Point a little bit at the beginning of the show. And again, I think Turning Point, what Charlie Kirk was doing was exactly what this freaking earth needs. Earth needs that. Absolutely, 1,000%. Men being men, women being women, getting some type of ethics underneath their belt, using some type of barometer called the Bible to get their ethics and barometer in the right way, getting that guidepost going. But I'm seeing the touch of others, and a lot of this stuff isn't making sense to me. But I do know that, hey, Josephine, good to see you. That there are some things that, other people have started going out and saying things. Now, Tucker Carlson is one of those guys that I've been impressed with a lot of what he's done. There's a couple subjects I don't know if it would really make me against him or for him on that topic. I can't remember what they are offhand. If I think about it for a minute, I'm sure I can remember. But my problem is Tucker Carlson's the kind of guy that likes to bring the receipts. He likes to bring the recipes. He likes to bring in the piece of paper and show what's really happening, right? And so for me, when I look at people like Sean Hannity, who I lost respect for probably 10, 12 years ago, I do not understand the popularity, how Sean Hannity has the ear of the president and how he seems to be that guy for them. But I quit listening to him probably 10, 12 years ago, easy. And a lot of it had to do with, there was a couple things that he just said, and it just, and then I started listening a little bit closer, and I'm like, I'm out, dude. And I was actually competing. Now, this is one thing I want you guys to remember. And I have a little bit of this documentation, but I don't have the documentation I should have taken the screenshots when I was competing with Sean Hannity for the same amount of viewers and the same amount of minutes watched, and the same amount of engagements and all that. We used to be able, outside of Facebook, back when in 2018, I could take my Facebook. Am I out of water? Oh, I'm good. I got a little water left. Back in 18, I had 19 and even 20. I could go in and I could compare. I could take other shows, grab Sean or grab, whoever, and I could compare them, and it allowed me to see who I was up against. Like, how's the matrix against these people? And I don't know how the guy does it, because I tell you that I really lost a lot of respect for him. I don't think he's just, him and Brett Baer, don't trust either one of them. I think Brett Baer is a Democrat the whole way. I think Brett Baer has been a Democrat the whole way. I think he's a plant the whole way. Sean Hannity, like I said, I just don't respect for what he does. Yes. Oh, the cat is loose down here doing something. I heard her. Maybe she was going the other direction. Sometimes the cats will get down here. Jimmy's cats. He's in California finishing up a class or a training. And they'll come down here, and one of them was doing something the other day. It was a couple weeks ago, whatever. And it was like, over here where I have the camera on, the stand is okay, as long as you don't bump into it. Well, she was doing some weird freak around, run around stuff, and I'm watching her right now basically do exactly what I was telling you that she was doing here. She's doing it over there. Anyway, so I tend to kind of get a little like, hey, I just don't want to knock on the camera and stuff over. Anyway. So, got to run for a chore, guys. Thank you both for all your time. Oh, absolutely, Amanda. Good seeing you. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. So, Sean Hannity's not my guy anymore. But listen to this. Sean Hannity says, Tucker Carlson shift. He says, my former colleague is not the person I knew he was at Fox. Well, if anything that Tucker has told you, and anybody else who's worked for Fox or any of the other, three-letter agencies, three-letter news agencies, excuse me, Freudian slip there, that they've all told you the narrative's completely corrected. The narrative is corralled. It's pushed into a certain trough. Now, granted, you're going to want your Hellman's mayonnaise, and you want your Ford commercials, and you want all these things. So your producer, your owners are going to say, listen, guys, we're trying to keep the lights on, and you keep running your mouth against these guys, and they're not going to pay us any money to run their commercials. And so that becomes a thing. So it becomes a thing of what they can do to control you, right? Is the dollar's worth controlling you? Is the dollar's worth manipulating you? And that's the part where I don't think that we always remember, because here's the two things. One, you have the pressure from the commercials, right, which a lot of them now are all pharmaceuticals. But you also have a big portion of a lot of these news agencies' budget is directly from the government. Hello? I mean, I don't know how hard that is to understand, but that's how it works. So there's a lot of that. And again, Sean Hannity, I think he's just a placeholder or whatever you want to call it. But, real quick, Jasmine Crockett, I think we talked about this a little bit yesterday, and Al Green, they both lost their primaries, but you know why they lost them? I don't know if you guys have ever heard of this before. It's a new concept that they're using to describe when a black female and a black male are not elected in their own primary, which only allows for Democrats to run. Well, there's a new way, guys. It's a big deal here. I want you guys to listen to this. This is a new one. Jasmine Crockett and Al Green, the reason they didn't make the election is because you guys are racist. Now, I know that's a new argument. I know you've never heard of this. But yes, this is what we're talking about now, is that the Democrats lost in their own primary in Texas. I think, and I don't know where Al Green's from. Al's not from Texas, but anyway, they lost in their own primaries, but you're racist. She lost her because she's black. That's why. So you guys don't understand how racism works. You don't, even though that you didn't do anything and were not involved at all in any way, shape, or form, not even the same state, you're still guilty. You're still guilty. So that's the difference. So when we think about how these people think, it's never about ownership of behavior, right? Never about that. All right, let's see where else. Uh-oh. Okay, why is Beto O'Rourke in the mail at all here in the how is this a thing? Okay, all right. So James Tallarico, the Democrat who just won the Senate primary in Texas and has positively bizarre views on God and Christianity, has just won the prized endorsement of Beto O'Rourke, who praised him during an appearance on MSN Now with Jen Psaki. Now, okay, I forgot Jen Psaki still has it. That guy, by the way, that's a thing, guys. On MSN, they have MSNOW, MS Now. And then Jen Psaki has that. Remember her, the redhead from the White House press secretary? Yeah, she still has a show. And then Beto O'Rourke, remember him from like 6 or 7 or 8 years ago? He's going to be president of the United States. He's going to run against Trump in 2020. Remember that guy? He was the Irish kid who was using a Hispanic name that no one gave him, but said that everybody used it, but then it didn't, but then they had to use it because that's what he named himself. Remember that guy? He endorsed another Democrat, and the Democrat's trying to figure out why. This is the stupidest shit ever. I have Al Green on 8-track, says Ken. Oh, yeah, I get it, man. That's good stuff. Oh. It's just terrifying to me a lot. I mean, when I say terrifying, it really, I don't know. It wonders. I wonder how they get there in their head. How did they get to that point? And are there other people out there following that path? I don't think like I said, I don't think we do a good enough job to run our mouths about what we really want freedom and liberty to be. Supreme Court just handed Trump a massive unanimous win on immigration with the opinion authored by Justice Jackson. Oh, well, let's hear this one. The United States Supreme Court does not reach unanimous decisions very often. The nation's highest court just ruled in Trump's favor. The opinion on this decision was even written by Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson. God damn it, why do these people have these horrible names? She authored the unanimous ruling Wednesday ordering federal appeals courts to defer to immigration judges when reviewing asylum decisions, bolstering the executive branch's authority in immigration cases and handling the Trump administration a win as it pushes on aggressive deportation agenda. Well, if that is true, we got to get over this shit, guys. Now, I don't understand. I do. I don't. It just drives me crazy. This whole thing and how this whole fight works and everything else like that just... I say I don't know, and I don't know why, but I do know, and I do know why, and all that other stuff. And I just get tired of it. You know, it's just a thing. So, God dang it. Sorry, guys. I knew that was getting ready to hit, and okay. Anyway. Well, I fumble around enough on this conversation, but there's just a lot of this that gets real touchy, and I want people to understand the victories that we're having, the amount of forward movement we're having, the things we're getting done, the things we're getting right, the things that are gone wrong, the things we can do better on. These are all there, but they're all there for you to look at and to change what you want. Now, if you don't like what you see, you don't like how things are going, let's get involved. I'll back a winner. Let's go. Let's get out there. Let's go do things. All right. Kanaji Brown is living proof that you can get to POTUS if you DEI hard enough. Ooh-wee. Yeah, that's probably very true, though. And that's the sad part of it. Is that's why she was nominated. So that's the icky, sad part of it is. All right, guys. Yeah, I have that's my ringtone, Ken, on that. I've had that for, that's actually literally a probably 12 to 15-year-old ringtone. To be honest with you, I've had that for so long. I'm surprised it has followed along in my phone all these years. It's crossed over, stayed with me, and it's always been out there. But I very rarely have my volume on. It's just that I have the Bluetooth hooked up to my phone. So when I do want to have somebody call in and just do an audio call, I can do that. Or anyway, but then every now and again I get a telemarketer calling. Anyway. All right, guys, it's going to be about it for me. It's been good seeing you. Good stuff out there. Tomorrow's Friday. Let's see what we can cook up for good things tomorrow. We'll find out what the JEFFEEE files are about, or if it's just more of the same stuff we already have. We don't know. All right, guys, it's going to be about it for me. It's good stuff out there. I think I said that already. I just keep trying to think there's something else I want to tell you. All right, I'm going to get out of here. 10% we do for our neighbor, community, city, county, state, the federal government. The more you do for them, the less they have to do for you. Learn how to be selfless and not so damn selfish. The world will be a far, far better place. Remember, hold the line, hold fast. Do not give up. Do not give in. We will win. I promise to make promise I can't keep. Guys, you've always been the answer out there. Remember that Constitution limits the government, but never limits you. You've always had the answers inside of you. Do not let the government tell you what to do when it is your authority to make sure that they do as you please. All right, guys, I'm going to get out of here. It's good stuff. I'm Jim Price, the Jim Price Show Daily Update. You guys will be good to each other out there.